I think by now that it's safe to say that the gods really are interested in what I'm doing, considering that they want to know what Eothas is up to, and I'm the one that was sent in to investigate. This sort of feels like how things were 5 years ago when I was to choose which one to follow and support. The only difference is that I'm not trying to stop someone, at least not yet. The gods are not all-knowing, that much is quite apparent. When it comes to what the other gods are doing or thinking, I suppose they aren't much different than a regular kith is to one another. I must remember that a part of me is with Eothas. A small part? Or half of my soul? I don't know. But I do know that I'd like it returned. Eothas told me that he still has need of it yet. So, he's up to something. And whatever that is, no one but himself knows. And I could possibly know more about it than even the gods. In my meeting with them, I do know that that wasn't all the gods there are. There are probably twice that number, at least as far as I'm aware of. Some other cultures have gods for this and that, ones that we don't have from where I come from. Though they could just be different names for the same god. Should I be humbled or annoyed that I am put on this path of finding out what Eothas is up to? Well, it would seem that I don't have a choice, so a bit of both then? I'm back to life, where if I didn't agree to what Barath proposed, then I would just be dead or recycled into a new life. So I should be grateful, I suppose. I have another chance, and while having another chance, I can continue the life I wanted to live. Well, minus being compelled to do what Barath wants me to do. But I am alive. Oh, that was disconcerting.
Huh? Right.
The gods just seem to be able to summon me whenever they want. Use this. Fragments of the blade of the endless path. Well, I don't think I need to take that. The mythic blade of the catacombs of Cadnua was destroyed when Eothas emerged from beneath the keep. The shards are no longer of use to anyone unless they could be reforged. This weapon may be fated to become even more than it was. And this. Fragments of Whispers of Yenwood. Despite being utterly destroyed with the devastation of Cadnua, the sword known as the Whispers of Yenwood has once again found its way into the possession of the keep's road warden, albeit in pieces. It would take a smith of some talent to reforge the weapon. With the right materials, however, perhaps the sword could become even greater than it once was. I always use another cape. Scroll of Insect Swarm. Suppose we can use this. Letter from Ophra? Keldon Zatha, I hope this letter finds you in good health. It has been many summers now since you first arrived in Gilded Vale. Much has changed in those years, but I will never forget the kindness you showed me. The gods have blessed me with a son. He is healthy and strong, and already so curious. All of Gilded Vale dotes upon him. I have told him of you. He asks constantly after the Watcher, who restored his spirit, and hopes one day to meet you. Until then, know that we keep you in our prayers. Your most grateful servant, Ophra. The mariner salutes. This is the steward. Shoti.
Ship life sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple.
Shoti wraps her sickle against her thigh as she studies the boat's layout. Satisfied by whatever she sees, she tilts her head to me with a small smile.
Tell me what's on your mind?
How is it you came to be a worshipper of Guan more so than of Eothas?
My folks... You might say they're not your typical Eothasians. Sure, they cling to the light more than the darkness.
A faint trace of a smile forms on Adair's lips.
But the war, it touched my family. And it changed them. Killed some. Not that I remember firsthand. The others toughened, turned survivors. That much I saw with my own eyes, even years later.
Kind of sounds like how I grew up. But that doesn't answer my question.
My aunt's the one who taught me about the cycle of life and death, how everything happens in stages.
Eothas seems pleased.
Whether forwards or backwards, from seed to rot to rebirth again, it's all just states of existence and balance. See? That's how I first learned about the slice of Gone within Eothas.
The Gone is just an aspect of Eothas associated with death and harvest. His implements are symbolically important. The sickle reaps what is sowed in life, and the lantern guides the deceased down their intended paths of death and rebirth. It is generally believed that Gone, instead of Barath's avatars, visits those who embrace death with acceptance and understanding. His most fervent devotees are known as harvesters of Gone. Gone is an answerer of wrongs and imbalances. This has contributed no small part to Darewood's enthusiasm for vigilante justice. Popular regard for Gone is polarizing. He is appreciated, feared, and characterized by a grim sense of finality. Balance that against Eothas, though, god of rebirth, redemption, dawn, spring, and light. Traditionally shown as a man bearing a candle and wearing a silver crown, believed to have possessed the body of the Riedsern farmer Wadwin during the Saints' War and been destroyed along with Wadwin at the end of the war. He recently reformed his essence in the statue of Maros Nua beneath Cad Nua. In the process of pulling himself from the Endless Pass, he destroyed the castle and left a watcher of Cad Nua at the brink of death. That I know well. Well, Gone sounds better than Eothas, but none of that matters. We need to know who we're dealing with. You believe it's an aspect of him, but what is he doing right now? She grins big, confident, and happy.
After that, I read all the doctrines of Gone. Anything and everything I could get my hands on.
Such as?
The 12 books of Nearwith, plus the epistles from the minor prophets. A lot of them aren't a part of today's canonization, but that doesn't mean they're wrong.
She crosses her arms over her chest, expression pinched.
It's tradition for the youngest born to take up the priesthood of Eothas. Well, I did it in my own way.
Sounds like it. Are there others like you, other Gonites out there?
Of course, though we're few and spread out. Most don't keep to temples. Soul shepherding requires travel.
Hitter points affably in approval.
Mostly I learned through reading. Any text pertaining to Gone I could get my grubby hands on.
I get the feeling you don't really fit in with the other Dawnstars.
I guess it's the nature of light to want to best the darkness. But you can't have balance like that.
Head downcast, she thumbs the edge of her sickle thoughtfully.
And it's not like night and death are bad things.
Aren't they, though?
Oh, no use in fearing what's natural. Life isn't one long line. It's cyclical. You gotta shed the old to become the new.
Her head shakes. I suppose so. Let's speak of something else.
No need to fiddle-foot around. I'm listening.
How are you feeling? Have you suffered any recent nightmares?
They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul.
Uh-oh. What are you going to do?
Go madder than I already am? I don't rightly know. It's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me.
Aloth nods, a quiet smile etched across his lips. Okay, what are your thoughts on Eothas?
We talking during the Saints' War, or after he died?
I think we talked about this before. What's the difference? Shoti taps a finger to her lips and hums thoughtfully.
Well, before he died, he was still Eothas as the majority of my brethren know him.
Yes, I'm aware of that. What is he now, though?
Eothas embodied a human. And when that human got blown to bits, we all believed Eothas died.
Adair seems to approve.
And I think a part of him did. The part he'd most closely woven into living flesh. The part that represented life. And rebirth after death. Which means the part of him that could have survived, that stormed across the Deadfire seas, was the side more aligned with obsidian, rot, and falling away. That which is death.
Oh. Interesting. Very interesting. So, okay. Let's speak of something
No
else.
need to fiddle-foot around. I'm listening.
That's all for now.
You need me, I'll be 2 whoops and a holler away.
Okay. Arena. Gods, I need a drink. Shield Sister Dahlia. 4 hours sleep at a go. Kill me now. Eld Engrim. Need something, Captain? Hey,
Thank
Aloth.
you again for maintaining my story in front of Vanessa and the others.
He gives me a grateful smile that fades almost as quickly as it appears.
I didn't enjoy deceiving them, but it seemed simpler than the alternative.
Shoti doesn't seem to be agreeing with his skullduggery. Are you still thinking of Vanessa?
I realized there could be nothing between us. But it was nice to have a friend all the same.
Oh. I thought we were friends.
You stood with me through more than anyone I've ever known.
He clasped his hands together, working his fingers into a tight knot.
But a lot has happened over the last 5 years.
So tell me.
After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key.
Adair seems to agree.
It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it.
Yes, I agree with that.
So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret.
He knits his brows. Shoti nibbles on her lips to hide a spreading smile.
Trying to undo them.
Just make sure they can never again commit an atrocity like Wadwin's legacy. He gives me a wan smile.
The task has been more difficult than I anticipated.
I listen.
I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make. Or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours.
He glances at me out of the corner of his eye. You had a sense of purpose when you began this. Don't lose it.
I haven't.
Shoti seems to appreciate that.
After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations.
Maybe he had an address book. Too bad you burned his robes. He gives me an appreciative smile, but his mind is clearly elsewhere. Both Adair and Shoti like that.
Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia. A run-down backwater of a place. Aye, right home like it was.
Eloth's expression shifts as Isomir briefly emerges. Oh, we could have done without Isomir.
Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting.
Oh.
A gruesome, pointless tradition.
He grimaces.
At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt.
You helped them, right?
That's where it gets complicated.
He frowns at his interlaced fingers.
The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos.
He raises an eyebrow at me.
Wicked old bunbag, 'tis what the lad means.
He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too.
Oh?
So I arranged for him to have an accident.
Gives me a sly look. Shoti didn't seem to appreciate that. That seems like one of Theos' dirty tricks. I expect you to act with honor.
I did it for the right reasons. Not that this changed much.
He winces.
The old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little.
Oh. His lips twist, as if the words themselves have a bitter taste. So, you made it worse.
Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week.
He's worked the edge of his sash into a tight knot. He clenches it between pale, rigid fingers. And now you feel responsible, is that it?
I had to do something, didn't I?
He turns to me with wide, anguished eyes. He pauses again, untwisting the sash at his lap.
I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better.
Learning from mistakes like this is a good start.
I suppose so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about.
Okay, but wait, you still haven't told me what the animasters have to do with any of this.
Ah, that.
He massages his temples.
I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I've found several references, but
He breaks off, shaking his head.
I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
This isn't about your notes. You're second-guessing yourself again.
You know me too well. All the same, I need to gather my thoughts.
Okay, well, we'll talk later. More later then.
Hey,
Hey,
this
Dare.
brings back some memories, huh?
How do you like the Deadfire?
The air's different. Especially compared to Gilded Vale, where there's more livestock than shovels.
Yeah.
Sounds different, too. You wake up to all those bird calls, it really does sound like they're making music. If the birds woke you in Gilded Vale, it was usually a couple crows making the most horrible mating noises you ever heard.
Don't remind me.
Strange thing is, I still get this feeling in me like I wish I was home.
Really? Interesting. What are your thoughts on Eothas at the moment?
I want the destruction to stop. I want him to finish what he's doing and then go in peace. Only I don't see it playing out that way.
Let me ask you something else.
If you like.
What did you do after we ended the Legacy?
I like that feeling, knowing we'd stopped Theos. We were part of something big.
Yes. Probably the best thing I've ever done. Probably the best thing anyone could have ever done.
That was something I never felt before. Not even at war. Guess I went looking for it again. Not that I wanted to tangle with gods, but something smaller. Something I thought I could manage. Well, there's a group of Eothasians in Deerwood, the night market. Go around helping other Eothasians in secret. Sorta like the Leaden Key, guess you could say. Except not a bunch of craven lunatics. So this one night I'm at a tavern and this fella has a disagreement with me. Game of Orland's head he'd lost some money at. And I'm bashing his head into the target when he notices I got this pendant with a symbol of Eothas on it. So we get to talking and it turns out he's an alright fella. Runs with the night market. And after he was feeling better a month or two later, he introduced me to some folks in the group. And they let me in.
How did that work out?
Well, it depended. The jobs we did, I got to help a lot of folks. A lot of times it was helping folks get out of bad situations. Getting them set up with better ones. I liked that. But the group had problems. A lot of different ideas how to run things. Sometimes it cost the people we were trying to help. And I don't know if that was something we could have avoided, or if it was the cost of trying to fix things.
All right. Well, let's get moving. Let's continue heading towards that, Juana. Is it a city or is it just a big village? I don't know. A big village is a city or a town, is it not?
One more time, Bella. Who be the High Queen Sea Devil of the Deadfire?
Malnage!
Aye, that she be, lass. That she be.
Vela? No offense, Captain, but your gunners can't shoot for shit. Wish you kept the crew as shipshape as the Defiant.
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
Hello, Seraphin. Tell me about the Romaro.
Ain't much there to be told, Cap.
Oh. As a captain, I need to know what you're getting my people into.
Ah, shit. You ain't wrong on that.
He rubs the back of his head.
When I were a wee swabby, fresh to the sea, it were Romaro that showed me the ropes and rigging. More than that, he kept his weather eye open for me.
He plucks at the fur at his elbow.
The sea be a right poxy ore on occasion, and life aboard the Sorcerer, that and more. Malnage, our ship hunter, she were all wet and bothered for doing me harm, and Romaro. He protected me. Mentored me too, learned me letters and navigation, handed down the Principe traditions. In time, we became close as kin or closer. And the Sorcerer, my family.
How did Romaro end up in trouble with the Principi?
Right, fantastic fucking question, Cap.
He scowls and plants a closed fist in an open palm.
Word out we're mutiny. But I'll be putting about as much stock in that as a dockside doxy for manners. Well, no, I don't normally be singing no praises of veracity, Cap. But in the matter of Romaro, I'll be hunting the truth.
You told me a lot about the two of you, but not much about him.
Fair. He be of old Valian stock. A good man and righteous. Not honest, of course, but honourable. We're our shipboard sawbones, and more than half handy at it.
He smiles and rubs his upper right arm.
More than one swabby be on the old salt of deferral from the wheel.
Saved from death, I suppose that's a fancy way of saying. Were you romantically involved?
Why, Cap? You be feeling a bit of the old envy?
You wish. He grins, bumping his eyebrows twice in quick succession.
Nay, we never shared a bunk. Not that I'd have kicked him out of a hammock, but, like I said, we be family. He never took advantage.
Why did this Malnage want to hurt you?
Well, only knows, Cap. She treated me like my mere presence gave offence.
Okay. I promise we'll find him.
Thanks, Cap. I'll be holding you to it.
Tell me about yourself.
Family ain't about the blood that runs through you. It be about who you be willing to spill blood for.
Okay. I'd like to ask you about the Principi.
Ask away, Cap.
Who are the Principi, exactly?
Formerly the Principe San Petrena. The princes, without,
His brow knits as he snaps.
without a home, aye. They came from Grand Valia ages ago. Now they be the scourge of the Deadfire.
He squares his shoulders, puffing out his chest.
More than that, ain't for the likes of me to say. Ask away, Cap.
How do the Principi operate?
Raiding seafaring vessels mostly. Seasoned ships cargo. Ships themselves if they be worth anything. If there be passengers of high birth, we be taking them for ransom too.
Sounds like you're just regular old pirates to me. But your old captain said that they're more honorable than that.
Ain't squeamish about slaying, but be avoiding it when we can. Get yourself known for killing folk. They get more likely to fight you when you come for the gold. Ask away, Cap.
You seem to enjoy being Principi.
Aye, that I do, Cap.
His scarred lip splits into a broad smile, revealing crooked teeth. If I were looking to enlist, just out of curiosity, how would I do so?
Enlist, Cap? We ain't the flog-stroking Rawatai Navy.
He chuckles low and warm.
Twixt the seaworthy vessel and passable crew, you've managed yourself the hardest part already. Now you just need to be setting yourself to piracy, after you be talking it over with the Consuelo.
The who? The Valiant for council, okay. Sounds easy enough.
No, we ain't exactly a bunch known for housing hard-ons for hard rules. Ooh, ask away, Cap.
Okay, so about you liking being a Principi.
Aye, that I do, Cap.
What about it that you like?
What not? Smell of the sea, creak of the rigging, blast of the cannons, rush aboard and a right piece of prey. A mug of spice rum in my hands and a bawdy song on my lips. A lad or lass in every port and another in my hammock.
He shrugs with a grin.
Be a pirate's life for me. Ooh, ask away, Cap.
Alright, well, I think that's good for now.
Aye, aye, Cap.
Farewell. Seraphin salutes and turns away. Hema? No offense, Captain, but your gunners can't shoot. Chitupek, the one who I lost all my items for, from the Cadnua. The mariner salutes. Rum Dum Reger.
Agrasima Casita for taking me on.
Oh. I wonder if Seraphin and Rum Dum Reger would get along. I would think that they would. Okay. Let's continue heading towards Nekitaka. Oh, there's another place in the way. Quite the dry land. I don't see any. Oh, there on the far side I do see something. There's a little oasis. Let's go and explore. Barely any trees to be seen here. Very dry. Picked up some water. Place called Cavern of Zar Tuk Tuk on the other side. And a place ahead of us called the Howling Gorge. We'll have to be careful.